You had trend, you broke over it, and then there was a big dump because it couldn't quite close trend. And then the relongs come in, which is exactly what would happen there, right? Like the relongs come in, the move starts laddering up pretty aggressively. Comes back, holds this, right? So this is kind of, as a grinder, what we do. This is what we do. We look at and we break down minute pieces so that we can trade every single day. We kind of do this TA on our charts, and we break down every single little chart every single day, all the time. And we are looking for, yes, you'll notice I have larger events, but these aren't even really large events. Like there's got to be trends that exist out here. I don't know. Maybe let's just try to draw a trend or two. So you'd have this right here, which is fine, which pulls out to here. Yes, that's correct. It pulls to right here, which is fine. That's the break there. And then you'd be pulling to. So we're just trying to find the larger trend here. So here, and you move up there. Let's take a look here. So that's where you break right there. And then you would be right here to here. So this is what you're looking at larger trend-wise, right? You're looking at this. You're looking to say, okay, when can we break this? And this becomes a perfect short or long target, right? Depending on the events leading up to it. So let's kind of just go back to this and see kind of the interaction that we get from this. So you do break trend here, you inverse, you pull back. So again, you're trying to break over this move, right? So let's just play out the 4 hour here. Big pullback, right? I guess we kind of moved through that pretty quick. But the point being is that you're going to have these larger events that are happening, right? Like you're going to have these larger events that are going to give you better spots to enter. For example, here to here, 400, 500%. If you can catch the bottom, that's fine, right? You would have been playing these kind of holds like this and so forth and so forth. And those are the larger events you play. But as a grinder, this is more of a position or a swing trader, right? As a grinder, we are just looking to take trades every single day, all the time. So what we can do is we can go to Bitcoin currently and see what it's doing. Oh, were we kind of current on that? I guess we might have been current. Yeah, we are. We're current on this. Okay. So we can go to Bitcoin, see what it's doing, and kind of talk about, okay, what would we be doing right now? So you go here, this, presumably, well, that candle's actually still in play today. You'd go here, adapt it like that. Here. And pull it to here. That's, is that correct? Yes, that's correct. That's fine. So you have something like this. You would have had this in the immediate, right? Like this candle to this right here. You break this down, and maybe we'll just do from the beginning of the day today, the kind of the pullback that happens. Candle to candle right there. Go into the smaller time frames, start to mark it up, right? So we're going to go to here now. So this is kind of the trend we're looking to break. And this is more advanced trend stuff. I haven't taught this stuff yet, but that's fine. It's just a little bit of some trend work here. I'm going to leave it there. Oops, wrong one. Right there. Wrong way. So then what would we be doing if we were in this trade right now? Okay. So as a grinder, we're gonna assess what's happening. Okay. We're moving up. Let's just quickly take a look at the chart over here. We're moving up. We have an origin level that we're trying to break over top of right here. So we are trying to set up a larger move. We have been holding this hold level back here. So let's go and mark this. We have been holding this hold level quite nicely. So that's great. And we are looking at, okay, there's nothing on the 12 hour. There is an inverse on the 4 right here, which is an inverse on a different level. We're going to find it. It's the hourly, which is right there, which is going to be a little clearer right here. That's going to be the inverse level, right? And so we're looking to stabilize. And what are we stabilizing against? So we're going to say, okay, we're laddering up. The ladder starts here. It actually starts back here. That's fine. So then you can say this would be the next hold level to buy in the moment, which is actually ends up being perfectly true. So this is actually where we would have bought. We would have identified this hold level because it's still laddering off this, and we would have been buying that and taken our let's see. So we would have been 3%, 300. 3% move down. So we're going to take 20% of this. That's 60 points we're going to take off this trade. So we're going to take 60 points here. So if we buy this level, this would have been kind of the opening trade of the day. So let's kind of just measure this 60 points. And we would have been taking, yeah, I was going to say, actually, I would rather take 80 points here, but top and bottom, we take 60 points. And now we're looking at, okay, we need to hold above this level, right? Like we basically are trying to ladder off this. So now we're looking to enter this trade again when it comes and pulls back or when it breaks trend. So we're not even in a trade right now. We're actually just actively monitoring this, watching this trade and saying, okay, what's the smartest thing to do here, right? We're actually looking to rebuy back on this hold level or a little bit above it. I wonder if there's any kind of, no, there's no really 1 minute candles. So that would have been kind of perfect entry, right? And then you can stop out if you break the move. This wouldn't be criteria to stop out yet. What you're going to do when you stop out is if you pull back to the leg of the move, right? Like if you pull back to the leg of the move here, 60 points, and when you move up. So you wouldn't be stopping out there because this is simply just still laddering, right? And then you're going to be starting to mark out your trends. Like, what are you trying to break? You're trying to break this. And it's trying to ladder off of, looks like this right here. So we can get rid of this older one right now. And we're saying, okay, we're trying to ladder off that. We got our buy filled. We're in this trade. So this is a point right here where you can get out. You see how you do pull back and you come back to your inverse level. This is a point where you get out of the trade. So you're getting out unscathed, only fees, right? There's your entry right there, right? So you could have got out a little bit of profit. You could have got out unscathed. I don't like being greedy when you're getting out, when you're trying to hold this level to break. Again, this just goes back to the same thing that we were talking about before about, okay, look at, we've got a trend that we are not that close to breaking. So when you pull back this move to here, this goes back to the same thing. You're taking a risk when you do this, right? Like when you play a trend this far away, you're taking a risk because this is exactly what can happen is it can pull back, but experience shows you where you can get out, right? Because it's going to pull to the inverse. So it's going to pull to a minimum of here. So you can simply get out right here on this inverse, which would have given you perfect exit. The move fails. You can get out. If you want to be really greedy and see where it goes, you would have been able to get out. And if you wanted to be really greedy, you can see where the profits are, right? Like you can just stay in it until you're in profits. There's a lot of times when you're in trades and as long as you get perfect entry as a grinder, as somebody who's doing this all day long every day, there's a lot of spots where you can actually get out of failing trades in profits very, very nicely. Like here, there probably was 20 points to be made in a failing trade. Yeah, 20, 30 points, right? So then our entry gets filled perfectly and we're in the trend break, right? And so then, yeah, you're just deciding where you're taking profits. You're doing your technicals. You're deciding where you're taking profits, right? You have do a little bit of TA here. You have the inverse right here. So this is where I'd be taking profits actually right now off this trade. So this is actually the exact level I'd be taking profits. So it's kind of a perfect trade. This is exactly where I'd be getting out. The first trade we just lost our trading fees on. We didn't really lose anything. This we take 60% on. Day is great when you can make 60%, even on one trade. There's no reason why you can't do this 4 or 5 times. If you're taking this, you could reshort it, right? Like you can reshort this level. And you could have got out too, again, on this hold. So this the same vice versa happens on both sides, right? When you get out and you see it break over, you can get out on the inverse hold to that. So it's the same thing. If we flip the chart, right? Like there's kind of a delicacy, right? So you short here. Let's go back to this. That might be a little too fast for people to take, and let's go to a smaller time frame. So there's a delicacy here, right? So you short this level. What are the criteria that can happen? You can move above it, which means you're going to come back and hit this hold level. So that's where you stop out of the trade and take profits, or you're going to reject it and decide if you want to sell here, if it's going to break the move here. And you can pick where you want to get out. So there's kind of a delicacy to this and like a really advanced way to be doing this. So hopefully the grinder series will start to open people's eyes to a bit about this, right? Because the grinder series is more focused on like how to make decisions as a grinder, how we trade every day in the moment, how we are constantly making these decisions, how we are faced with, oh, do we buy, do we sell, do we hold, where do we get liquidated, how do we get out of bad trades? Like that's the grinder, right? The grinder is kind of these things that we're learning in the blueprints and then putting them into use and practice every single day. So how do we use all of that stuff and then turn that into, oh, okay, I want to make 300 or 400% today. So let's go back through this again. So you entered on this hold level here, right? We picked this hold level to enter, and let's measure the percentages we made here. So we picked this level. We took 60 points here because we said, oh, look, it stopped right there in the moment. We want to actually just short this. If it breaks up, we know it's going to break up and come down and test this hold, right? If it's going to reject, it's going to fall hard, and we're going to have an even bigger short here. So same thing on both sides, just like when we talked about, reducing the losses when we take a bad trade, because it's not about a question of technicals, right? It's a question of how accurate is your buy. You can have 3 and 4 different hold levels or some break levels, and they'll tell you different points of data, but it's up to you to pick which one to buy. So sometimes one is a little too high. Sometimes one is a little too low. So there's kind of a nuance of watching them in the moment. And, it's a little hard to pick every single right hold level all the time unless you're doing very deep TA, right? But anyways, regardless, you could have simply just shorted this and how much profit is here? 17 points. So you could take another 10 points of profit very easily here because you know it's going to hit that hold. So there you go. There's your 10 points of profit. You relong this because you already know that this move is hitting the origin, which is here, and it's starting to break the valley, starting to break the move, right? It's starting to break the move. So you take another 10 points. So just from here to short here to this is going to be another 10 points, which was actually the right play in this moment. And then you're relonging here to see the larger time frame now. So you're going to relong and say, okay, the break of the move is here. Let's see where the larger break is. We're already breaking the 15 minutes. So, maybe let's look for some stronger inversion here. There's not really any inverse levels here. There's a pretty strong inverse level right here by the looks of it. So the biggest inverse level we have right now is kind of this. We have this valley here. So if we have this right here, that should be our target. And where would the inverse on this level be? So if that's our target, that means that this will be not really the inverse to it. It will be this, but actually, you know what? The inverse would be whatever this tested here. So there's something inside of here that this was testing. That comes up there. It's right here. So what is this protecting here? Okay. So then you're looking at an origin level back here. That's what you're looking to break right here. So now we have to find the origin level of the move, which maybe can be found on a different time frame. It's not here, so it's below this and above that. So that's the origin level right there. And that's the inverse to it, which is the same thing as this. So you have two targets here, right? So you're looking at the inverse target. So in my opinion, you're looking at this as kind of your max target. So you got another 100 points here if you break the trend. If you break this daily, your trend could simply be the target here too. So let's just kind of play forward. There's your trend target. So you could short this. This is like, let's say we short this. This is proper to short trend here. Regardless of if you break it or not, it's proper to exit your trade here. You've got another 48 points here. Let's just round it to 40. Let's say you got 40 here. So you had 100 points in this little bit of, so we're on 5-minute charts. So from 8:45 in the morning to 9:40. So in an hour, you've gotten 100 points, and you should short this and say, okay, if it can hold this, I'm going to be in this trade, right? I'm going to relong this trade. It actually held this, which is even surprising that it holds something higher. Was this a 15-minute? No, I don't think so. It was a 15-minute hold. Actually, the 15-minute hold would have been proper there. I wouldn't have taken it. I would have been super greedy. So I can rightfully say I would have missed this part of the trade. No problem. I would rather be greedy and miss trades. Don't care. Like, I just don't care. I would be reshorting this level up here. You see, it didn't even get to my short. So I would have missed both sides. I would have missed the not greedy enough trade here and the not greedy enough short here. I actually would have missed them both. So I would have actually missed out on, 100 points here and 60 points there. But that's okay because you don't always have to take every single trade. But what you do need to do as a grinder is take 10 points, 17 points because you want 10 points of profit. Take 40 points, take 60 points, 70 points, 80 points, 100 points. So let's go actually to our charts here, and this is going to hit some kind of hold in here. So if this was gone and this was gone, and we were going to say, okay, as long as we don't hit this, we're still laddering. So we can even start to look down in this range here and see where are our hold levels. Okay, so we have a 5 minute here, right? So we have a pretty greedy hold level right here. Do we have something lower? Yeah, we have a 3 minute right here. Do we have something even lower? Like I'm looking for some really greedy entries. We have this, but this is too greedy. There's not really any confluence in that. At best, I would say this was testing as an origin level on a small micro time frame, which would have been pulled back off of this. So that would have been right here. You could have entered. Again, a little advanced, a little outside the scope of Blueprint, but there's some other TA stuff here that makes this the right buy. But okay, let's just stick with what we know and say, okay, let's drill down, because you're not like, yeah, okay, you can refine. You can refine the technicals to the point of perfect entry, and that's fine. But you could also just say, like, here's a 3 minute chart. This is where I would have entered here. Let's say that. So I would have entered here, and 40 points. Yeah, it's enough. And then you know what? Replay it from here. Do the same thing. Look and say, okay, where's the valley? There's no valley here. I would have actually played this right here. I would rebuy 92. Yeah, $10 cheaper. Is it even worth it? I don't think so. It's not worth it to reshort this. It's not. I'd rather have a trailing stop. Like not a scaling stop, but like a trailing stop set. So I guarantee myself my profits of 46%, right? I don't even think it's worth it. And we didn't even adjust our trend. So I actually don't know what trend is doing here. I'm just trying to look for like, hey, here's the smart buy. Oh, okay, that's a smart buy. Here's the next buy. Just trying to show you guys how it's done when you're grinding, right? And this would have been right here. So you would have broken that. You would have hit this, that hold there, creating a cycle here. Broke that. You broke that right here. So now you're pushing up. Like, yeah, I don't know if I would have exited this. If I would have, sure, I would have got $10 cheaper. So like 15 points cheaper. I guess it counts, but it's pretty thin. But yeah, okay, fine. Not really anything that happens here for a while. And where would I be looking to exit this trade? I would be looking to exit right here. Oh, which actually got hit perfectly. Okay, yeah, see the inverse level. It's very simple. Oops, no, we don't want to leave. We would have been looking to exit there you go, the 5 minute inverse. So actually this is pretty perfect. So target was right there, right? You guys are going to have time to do your technicals properly. In a video where I'm teaching you guys, I might have to go back and find the levels. But anyways, you guys can see the levels here. And you take your 60 points. And again, that's nice, right? So you take your 60 points there. How do you now ladder from here to here? Your criteria means that you can't go below this. So let's look for the buy in here now, right? 3 minute buys, anything on the 1 minute? Yeah, you have this here, but that's pretty thin. But also at the same time, there's no other valley. So we can actually get rid of this. There's no other valley here to be bought. So you would be down here. This would be your hold level down here, right? This would be it right here. This is kind of the greediest point that you actually have a level. So kind of represents like the greediest point because there's no real valleys in there. So that's where you would have bought again. And you can either sell the Pandora's box, another 40 points, right? Or you can go for this here. Kind of this origin break. Probably would have just sold the origin, the inverse level again and be looking to pick up again back down here. Now it's actually started to ladder off of here though. So now you're kind of like, look, this is starting to ladder off of here even right now. You see it's got this kind of slight slope up. So you're running out of time if this is going to break up. Yeah, it goes after the origin there, comes back, test trend. So you can see when you do your technicals properly, there's like 40 and 60 and 100 points everywhere to be had. I don't know how high this thing is going. But okay, so there went after our origin level again, right? So there's 100 points here. Whether you stayed in from here or not, like there's a couple trades to be made in here, and they're quite easy to see. But this is the grinder, right? Like so this kind of gives people a really good idea of what it looks like, and we'll just let this play out, and that's fine. Comes back, tests our level again. Perfect hold level. You're really looking to just short off this level. There's the short right there, right? Like you would have taken your profits there. We already have that level marked out from before. So you mark out your levels. You make logical decisions that make sense in the moment. You guys can see how I did it, right? Look, we laddered here, we laddered here, we laddered here, we laddered here, we laddered to here, which was still off of here on a larger time frame, to here, to here, to here. So, one of the key things is to realize, like, hey, are we touching the leg of the move? Like, let's just bring it back to basic knowledge. Are we touching the leg or are we touching the break of the hold, right? If we're continuously holding, even if it's $1, it doesn't matter. And so fine, you're just continuously moving up perpetually right now. And the difference between someone who took a position trade, crossed their fingers, or a swing trade, crossed their fingers, and came back in 4 or 6 hours versus the grinder. And the grinder is somebody who, again, is playing every part of the move, who has a better understanding of the charts. It's a more advanced trader. The grinder is very much a more advanced trader, taking 40 points, 60 points, 100 points, only playing the moves there to be played. Like, you know what? Let's just go to like a random stock, and I'll do this really quick on a random stock. Let's just say, I don't know, Ripple. I don't chart Ripple. I'm sure I have a Ripple chart, but I don't know. Maybe I don't. Hopefully, thankfully, I do. That's okay. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to do like a quick little test here. We're just going to go to the daily. What do I even have for Ripple? Oh yeah, I have the bot. Okay, that's fine. This is nothing I really care about. So we're just going to do this. Okay. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to do it like this. Just going to draw our like, where would we short this? Okay. So let's just draw a scenario where we'd short. Say if we weren't in this move. So say we didn't catch this level right here, whatever this was. Like, this looks like it pulled back off of this, which is fine. We didn't get to short there, but we're sitting here in Ripple, and it's we're right here, and we're like, oh, it pulled back. Is it holding its level? So how do you dictate clues? Like, where do you start? So you're in this trade. The pullback has already happened. You didn't get to short it from here, right? Like, oh man, I missed 11%. What do you do next? So you just start saying like, oh, look, there's a leg of a move. The leg of a move was tested. This is trying to break its move. Oh, but wait a second. This is also a hold. So what is it actually trying to do? So it hit the hold and it established the leg of the move. You see this? It hits the hold and then establishes the leg. It then breaks the leg of this piece of the move. So it's looking to pull back, right? So you're looking for a pullback when you break trend. So that's what you can ascertain off this. Your leg break happened after you created the hold. So or after you hit your hold. You hit your hold, you break your leg. That's it, right? So now you can simply say, when do you take this trade? Well, you take it when you break trend, right? So you're still holding trend, and you're going to look for some kind of point of inversing, which is right here. So you're running out of time to short this. You're running out of time, and your clue is there, right? You already know the move is breaking down. Easy for me to say because I saw the chart before, but anyways, it doesn't matter because it's all the same. The leg of the move was hit here. The trend is collapsing. You're going to short trends and you're going to long trends all the time. You don't need to be at the tops of the bottoms of moves, right? Like, you don't need to do that. You already broke the leg. Right now, you're laddering. So let's define that. Okay, this was the leg break. So you ladder here to here. This breaks the leg, which means this has to hold a ladder. Okay, so this goes to here. As long as, okay, let's do it a different way. As long as the leg of the move isn't touched. So as long as this isn't touched, the move can continue. This is touched on the hourly twice. So this is trying to break the leg of the move. Where's the 4 hour? Where's the bigger leg? It's right here. Oh, look, that is actually broken too. Well, that's the 1 hour. So this is already preset to fail. This is already preset to fail. So let's just go here and just see like, okay, well, where's your inversion points now? Well, you've got one right there and you've got one right here. So let's see what happens. Well, there's the inverse. Is it going to break above it or not? No, it's actually pulling back. Okay, it's breaking above it. That's fine. We're not in the trade yet. We're just looking. It's failing to close over it. Is there a bigger 4-hour level here that we're looking for? There is right here. You see, it didn't actually touch the 4-hour level. So technically it's laddering down right now. So we're running out of time. We know this thing is laddering. Now, does it ladder again inside of that? So let's take a look. Does it ladder off of that? So are we laddering now from here to say here to here to here? So let's look for the ladder down, right? So let's go here and let's say, here's the ladder down, right? Was there anything else? Get rid of this for a second. Nothing else there. Is there anything on the 1 minute charts? Like, let's see if there's like where the extreme last ladder is. Like, what's the last level this thing could hit? There's a ladder right there, 2 candles. It could come all the way up to here, which it did right there already. So I guess it can come up to there. That's fine, which it probably did. It probably hit this inverse a second time, which is right here. It actually looks like it might not hit it. And it starts to pull back off this. So I mean, yeah, okay, well, where are you going to enter your short? Like, that would have been a good spot. It's laddering down. So now you have to find a spot to enter your short inside of this, right? And let's just go to the 4-hour chart and just kind of let it, or maybe the 1-hour chart here. 4-hour looks like it's a bit too much. Kind of, you can see though, like how I told you guys, like, oh, is it laddering up? Now, oh, is it laddering down? You're about to break trend down. Is it laddering down? Yeah, it's laddering down. Oh, there's a leg break right there. There's another clue. Okay, maybe we can short the next inverse right here. Here's the next inverse. Maybe because we missed this, we broke this leg, which is also this leg back here. We broke these legs and we can now inverse off this. So this is now your best entry, right? You can see this trend is about to break in a big way. So there you go. There you have it. There's Ripple. Sure, it's going to fall even more here. Yeah, and look, it hits our hold level perfectly. And you know, it's trying to stabilize. It can't, so I'm sure it goes after a lower hold and even lower. So like you can see that you don't need to, like, this is all a part of being a grinder, right? Like, yes, okay, you might have missed 15% or a quick 11%, but if you were in this trade in this moment, like, okay, if you were in this trade, you would have sold here and you would have taken your relong and you would have been re-entering this trade back in this range somewhere back here to take this 10%. So you would have been in the same position. You just would have missed the first 10%. You wouldn't have held from here all the way down to here. No, you would have held from here, shorted to the trend or the level or whatever we find down here, taken that trade and then came back when it was time to reshort. So this was 2 trades, right? Well, this was a lot more than 2 trades. There's lots of trades in here. There's trades on these inverses. There's trades on this trend. But if we're just talking about, oh, I missed this and now I don't get that, people look at the top and bottom. There's 2 trades that exist here. This is number 1. This is number 2. All you did was take number 2. Doesn't matter if you missed number 1. So I hope that helps everybody understand how to be a grinder, how we need to be looking at charts on a day-to-day basis, what we need to be doing making these decisions. And yeah, all right. Adios.